Hello, everyone. Hey, it's your man, Darren and Palmer. I'm excited to be with you again today, doing a lot of recording. I got a young lady who will be with us today, NaTarsua Player. You'll be able to see us do a live interview today as far as what we're doing. And so we'll be able to continue to work with you and get you lined out on all the things that you need to do as far as what it takes to be a market leader and much more. But you'll be able to tune in today for a live episode of Author Spotlight as well. So I'm glad to be with you. I hope that all is well in your camp or whatnot, or your neck of the woods, as far as with the COVID-19 and everything that's going on. But I just wanted to get in with you today. And like I said, if you got any information for our guest, Ms. T. Player, please just reach out or whatnot and leave some comments or whatnot. Leave a message for us as well or whatnot, because we're streaming live today. So she'll be on shortly, but I just want to just say thank you for tuning in. If you're not aware of it, the Author Spotlight, for those who hadn't been able to listen to the award-winning Author Spotlight, I go behind the scenes with best-selling authors from around the globe. So this young lady, is some amazing things about her that I'll be able to share with you. Just some of the things. I don't want to get into no rivalry going on or whatnot, but she's from a school that, from my alma mater, so to speak, that we didn't like in school, but we've been able to let bygones be bygones or whatnot, with her going to Sam Houston State University. And so we want to just make sure that we connect with you as well. But anyway, I'm going to move forward here and just share a little bit about her before we move forward. I hope everyone is doing all right out there today. She'll be on shortly. All right, I'm going to read a little bit about my girl, Miss NaTarsua Player. She is born from Shreveport, Louisiana. NaTarsua spent a portion of her formative years enjoying the rich intricacies afforded by living in the rural Bossier Parish area. Raised by a single mother in pursuit of greater opportunities and exposure, NaTarsua and her mother relocated to Houston, Tejas, where she currently resides. NaTarsua is a servant leader whose entire life hinges on her faith and trust in God. She has spent the last 19 years in corporate America, working for one of the largest energy infrastructure companies in North America. She has excelled in leadership and has engineered measurable solutions to problematic concerns. However, it all pales in comparison to the gratitude she receives for helping young people and adults alike, in some capacity, grow in character, garner self-worth, exude human kindness. She is a creative visionary who believes that success is often found in the barrels of failure. NaTarsua holds a bachelor's degree of business administration and marketing degree from Sam Houston State University. She also holds a master of business administration degree from Jesse H. Jones School of Business at Texas Southern University. Lastly, she holds I am still learning degree in this thing we call life. So I just want to share a little bit about our guest before she comes on today, Miss NaTarsua Player. But while I got you on today, while we're waiting on her to come on today, we want to talk about market leader content. As you see with her, we understand the importance of how we need to do. I understand that, but we got to move forward and do the show regardless. I hope all is well. I got NaTarsua on. I'm going to add her. Welcome, Miss Player. How you doing, young lady?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. I just gave a little bit of your bio or whatnot before you came on, but I didn't realize. I guess it had to come back to me that you came out of Shreveport area, the Bossier Parish area.
Very much so. I am a product of a town north of Shreveport called Plain Dillon, Louisiana.
Okay. But what you didn't know about your boy though is that I spent a little time at Southwood.
Where is Southwood?
Southwood is in Shreveport.
Okay, well, I left when I was a little girl. But yeah, that's my roots.
Okay then. Okay, that's good. I just want to have you come on. I shared a little bit about your bio or whatnot. Is there anything that you would want to share with the audience besides that you should have went to Stephen F. Austin State University? Is there anything else that you would like to share just for the people?
I mean, I'm excited. I'm excited for the opportunity. Of course, I went to Sam Houston State University. Obviously, you missed out on that piece. But this is, as far as in who I am and the book, this is my first book. Hopefully the first of many. And this was new for me. It was very, very new for me. So yeah, my background, basically, I have a faith-based upbringing. That's kind of the blanket to which all of this is laid and how we set the table. And I think that's an important piece to understand because it's the caveat to how I operate. Other than that, like I said, this is my first book. I'm pretty excited even for this opportunity, and we can just dive in from there.
Awesome, awesome. I call a T player or whatnot, but I'm gonna have to work on that on the show. I'm just have to say Miss Player. But if you don't mind, share with the audience, because that's a perfect segue into this being your first book. Share with the audience, why did you even write a book? Why give us the name of the book, and why did you write this as your first book?
So the name of the book is Blinded by My Shadow. And to be very, very honest with you, I did not set out to write a book, interestingly enough. I began writing poetry and writing different poems when I was in college. I knew when I was in high school, my teacher would tell me in English that, hey, you're a great writer. And so it was like, oh, okay, cool, I can write. That's awesome. But it wasn't until I got in college that I really started writing down some stuff that appeared to be meaningful. It was my writings of personal feelings, how I felt, my thoughts. And for me, I guess I even started writing because it was my outlet. I'm a pretty private person. I don't talk to others a whole lot with regard to my personal space. So for me, my outlet to get those thoughts out was through writing. So that's when I originally started. I originally started writing. And from there, my book didn't evolve until years and years and years later. I hadn't even thought about writing a book. And I don't know, it was sometime before 2015 that it was like, wow, okay. I think a friend of mine, a constituent of mine, had wrote a book, and it became a thing. Was like, oh wow, I could probably write a book. But what would I write about? Like, what would this be about? And so then I think, as I continue to write my poetry pieces, I've done some spoken word on a couple of stages here in the city of Houston. And then I was like, oh, okay, I can write a book of poetry, but I'm not. Interestingly enough, I'm not a fan of reading poetry, so it has an interesting twist to it. I was like, okay, so if I'm gonna write this book, it has to be interesting. It has to be something that's digestible, where readers can understand it on a platform that's easily understood, and they can derive meaning as they should in their own way. And so it started from me just compiling some of my pieces from back in the day, from college, and then some stuff that I had written more recently. And so it's just really a compilation of all of those pieces. Again, I didn't intend to write a book. So for me, I didn't start off saying, hey, today I'm going to start, writing my book. It was just a matter of me saying, okay, I could do this. And the prose that accompanies the poetry is what I worked on as I actually wrote the book. The pieces, for the most part, were pieces that I had written somewhere in college and a little thereafter. A couple of them are newer pieces, but yeah, it's the prose that I had fun writing in the meat, like right in the presence of me writing.
I love that. I love that. And for those who are tuned in, who are watching this, and some of the things that I'm picking up from what Miss Player is sharing with us is the importance of, resurrect some of that content that you have. I can't tell you how many people I know, even going back to high school, they got journals full of stuff, whether it's poems, or was it something that they felt passionate about during that particular time that they just got power? They got, drives full of stuff that they've written, and multiple books even that they hadn't even published yet, but they're not doing anything with that content. I mean, I like to share, you got to take a note from waste management and learn how to recycle and follow that information and give a new spin to it, dust it off, blow that dust off of it, and move forward. And I think that's what you're sharing with us, Miss Blair, is the importance of that. You didn't have to have this awakening or this aha moment or this epiphany for you to be able to utilize something that you already had. And, and speaking of that, you already had the content, but you did have to come back and shape it and form it. So share with the audience, how did you make time for that? Because you are busy, because I read your bio, for those who know that you got some things going on. So it's not like you just sitting around there, like I said, and eating hot Cheetos and binge watching on Netflix all the time. You do have things that you do. So share with them, how did you create the time? Was it blocked off scheduling, on the weekends, in the evening? Share what worked best for you.
So for me, I'm not gonna say organization is not one of is my weak, one of my weak spots. But I will say, for me, I guess I didn't put myself on a schedule. I didn't give myself a timeline. For me and my creative spirit, it was more or less whenever I can get to it, I'll get to it, because I didn't want to pressure myself. And then my writing felt more, it was more like force than fluid. And so for me, I just, those times where it was downtime, I could kind of steal away, get some quiet time, allow my thoughts to do what they do. For me, the Holy Spirit guides me a lot. So I just took some quiet time. And sometimes it was just on the sofa when there was nobody, in the house. The house was quiet. There was no stirring in the house. Or it could be a walk in the park, or I could go sit near some water, because water stimulates me a whole lot. I feel like I'm a water baby. So just taking that time to steal away. But again, I didn't set a schedule, because for me, setting a schedule was saying, okay, it's demanding of my time, and now I have to sit down and do it. So yeah, that's kind of how I got through it. And again, I didn't have that aha awakening like, hey, I'm about to write a book today. It was more or less of, now that I have these pieces and it seems like they could probably be beneficial to some folks, let me pen it, put it in a book. And now I have to make sense of it. So that was the part of the prose that came along with each piece. So I had to delve back in and dial back into my reasoning behind writing those pieces. Where was I mentally? What was I thinking about? What stimulated it? And so that was the part that took me back down memory lane. So that's kind of how I got where I am now.
And you know what, Miss Blair, when you share that, it goes back. And for those who tuned in and you're thinking about doing a book, it's one word that you got to keep in mind. I like to call it S squared or whatnot. You got to be willing to sacrifice and also be selfless. Like, she realized and thought to herself, this could be beneficial to somebody. This is not all about me. Because she could have said, you know what, that's just a pass, or there's no sense of me even worrying about that. I can do something else. But that selfless act of, hey, let me just put it out there. What is it going to hurt? And also it creates opportunities from not even at this moment, but years to come. Somebody on their journey in this thing that we call life can pick up and read up on what I was going through during that particular time in my life, and they can benefit from it. I heard her share a little bit about her faith as well. Where would we be, Miss Blair, if, John on the Isle of Patmos wouldn't have started writing down and when he was inspired by the Holy Spirit? Or if some of the older saints were here, they would say the Holy Ghost. All right, but I felt something hit me real quick. But anyway, I want to make sure that we have a good time on this show. But at the same time, saying, Miss Blair, you know how we do it. You know how we do when we get on the show. We got to have a good time. We're going to be educational, but we also got to be entertaining people. All right. Before we move forward or whatnot, just share with them too, what you doing the book or whatnot. That process of, it's one thing to say that you're going to do a book. It's one thing to start prioritizing and putting it together. but I also want you to share with them the importance of investing in a book, because a book don't just come together just because you got an idea for as a book. So share that piece and component too, to have the mental fortitude to say, I'm going to invest my time, and I'm also going to invest funds to be able to see this thing come to fruition. Could you share with that, with the mindset on that too, if you don't mind, Miss Blair?
Oh, sure. So with respect to that investment, much of my book talks about self-love, self-worth, and being able to love yourself holistically, and without regret is so very important. And if you don't invest in you, no one else will. And so, to the point where as it became a real thing, okay, I'm writing a book. So now I know that, okay, this has the potential to really bless someone. So let me not be as selfish and hold on to it, but let me be selfless. And so then when I put all of my energy into it, now I get it. Okay, this is a thing. We're doing this. This is a book. Okay, let's now what do we have to do to make it reality? Because it's one thing to be pregnant with possibility. It's another thing to birth it. So how do we get it from inception to manifestation? And so that's the part in between. That process is where you have to go through sometimes toil and struggle, but you also go through a place of, okay, guess what? By any means necessary, I'm going to get this out. And so I think for me, investing that time, taking time to, like I said, steal away, get some quiet time, focus, really focus, because there are times when I felt very like I had writer's block. And you have to know when to put the pen down, when to stop, when to just push back. Okay, my thoughts that are kind of running together, let me just go to sleep, or let me do something else to take my mind away from it. So it can't be forced. You're allowed to be fluid. So yeah, investing that time is so very important. And sometimes you do have to be selfish with your time in that regard. You have to nurture. You have to. It's a baby, right? So you got to nurture it. You got to take time for it. You got to prioritize it, and definitely with your finances as well, because it's not gonna pay for itself. It's not. I mean, you do have to. We make time for what we want to make time for, and we make our money spend for what we want to make our money spend for. And so I think it's a great investment that will pay dividends, not only in my life but in the life of the readers. That's my hope. That's my goal. So yeah, you definitely have to make the investment with your time, taking time for your talent. That's you actually writing the book, and then your treasures for sure. Got a little biblical there, but I told you that's my background.
Man, hey, don't y'all let her fool you there. She got her glasses and stuff on. Did y'all hear that fire start coming out? I just kind of just set it up. If we were playing ball, I was just coming down half court. I was pulling. Y'all didn't know I had them handles. Look at that. I just look like this because I got this blazers and stuff. I took the blazers off, but your boy got handles and everything.
Don't make me come out of it.
Don't make me sweat this blazer out, because I will sweat this white shirt out and go to the cleaners on y'all. But I'm just throwing alley hoops over here. I set my girl up. She went right in, and that's the part of the manifestation, saying bowling, saying, but saying it's the manifestation of what you have. You having a target, you having a goal. It can be a dream, but you got to make it a goal. You got to put pen to paper. You got to realize, like, hey, it's really an issue with what Miss Blair brought up. And, I want to go deeper into that about the self-love, because there's some people right now, Miss Blair, that at first you have to know that you got to self-assess yourself. So at first he was too busy. At first it was my job.
Sure.
At first it was the kids. I got to get them at school. We got AAU. We got all these practices and everything. Mm-hmm. Okay, now we're in a moment in time where everything is stopped.
Listen, you have nothing but time, right?
Nothing but time.
Sure.
And you part.
Sure.
But you still finding a reason why you haven't started writing the book, why you still haven't shared your story. You say you want to help so many people, but this is your opportunity that you can at least begin the process to start moving forward and move towards that particular goal, but you still find the reason. Now, for those who listen to this is not Darren doing no sales pitch. This is Darren sharing with you the real, true understanding of self-love.
Sure.
What are you really rooted in? Is it in doubt? Is it in fear? Is it in scarcity? Is it in lack?
Mm-hmm.
Because that's the deeper rooted issue. I'm not talking to you about something that you don't want.
Very true.
This is something that you do want. This is something that might have been, let me use one of my Christianese words. This is something that might have been prophesied to you. For those who don't understand prophesied to, that is African American colloquialism where we're sharing with you the importance of someone speaking or consulting with you, sharing with you and confirming that you need to do something in your life right now. All right, let me get back to the podcast with professional development. All right, now with that being said, share with the importance of, if someone is out of self-love, share with us, Miss Blair, how can they begin to get back in love with themselves and understand who they truly are, not with social media or a bad relationship or what the world tells them who they are?
Yeah, self-love is so important, because when you don't have that self-love, as you said, you could have fear, you could be engrossed with doubt. You tend to isolate yourself, and oftentimes how we perceive self and what self-love means to us is often based on childhood experiences or different encounters in life that has left, unfortunately, this mark on us that mentally it antagonizes over and over and over again. And oftentimes we render ourselves helpless to be able to move forward or to get out of that rut, because unfortunately we believe the hype of what others have said. We kind of see ourselves, and that's the whole piece of blinded by my shadow. A shadow is pretty big when you look at the object that it's kind of magnifying. I don't want to become what others want me to become. I don't want to be who others think I should be. I want to love me enough with all of my flaws, enough to say, hey, guess what? I accept those things. I accept who I am and I love me for all of me, because when you understand that you're individually made, you're uniquely made. There's not one single person on this earth who's just like you. And I think that I had to get to that point even in life. And as I said, my springboard, the hinge by which I operate is my faith, and understanding that God loves me no matter what others think, no matter what others say, no matter what the opinions of others are. I had to get past that. But oftentimes when you don't love yourself, it really does breed fear. And it breeds fear in every aspect of your life. So it could be from sports to whatever else, opening a business, writing a book. It can impact you in so many different ways, and it can show itself. And it's important to, one, surround yourself with people who encourage you, who pour into you, who doesn't mind watering the seed. Because we hear enough negativity in so many aspects of life, that is so important to ground yourself and be around people who can support you and pat you on your back and pick you up when you fall, because not all of life is a bed of roses. Sometimes we fall and bump our heads, but it's important to get back up and say, okay, I bumped my head this time. The next time I'm going to overcome that. So, and again, my faith, I promise you, it grounds me, because I had to press past what I thought others wanted me to become. And it self-love again. Love yourself, because otherwise then you'll become a people pleaser. You do things just to please others, and you'll find your life has spiraled into this pattern of behavior where you lose yourself. You forget who you are. Your identity is hijacked, and it's like, no, 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 no. I want me. So at some point you have to choose. I want to love me. I want to get to know me better. That person that stares back at me in the mirror, let me get to know her better. For me, I had to get to know who she was, and what she enjoyed in life, and what drove her in life. And so purpose also, from how I was raised in my Christian upbringing, God has a purpose on all of our lives. And you'll continue to feel incomplete until you're operating in that purpose. I mean, that's just the reality of it. And so we can chase so many things and take time to do so many other things, but it'll leave this hole in your heart, because it's like, I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing, because the idea is that my life really is not necessarily for me. It's for me to give it to others, because I'm here for really a purpose. And so whatever that is, it's let me take progressive steps to figure out what that is, what that purpose is. And yeah, getting to know God a little bit more helped me a whole lot in that reassurance of, okay, Tarsua, this is who you are, NaTarsua. And I make people even pronounce my name correctly, because that was so many people in my childhood calls me not necessarily by how you pronounce my name, but they call me Tasha, Natasha. And this one lady was like, listen, your name is NaTarsua. Make people call you by your name, because it identifies you. So I just encourage people to believe in themselves, pick yourself back up if you've fallen. And one of the quotes that I say in my book is, oftentimes successes or success is found in the barrels of failure. You won't always find that you'll win every battle, but get back up, dust yourself off, and try it again. And if you continue to try, even when you've fallen, you can get back up again, because success is just around in the corner.
I'm telling you, I love this. I love this, NaTarsua. I get it right. Yeah, I didn't know that. Your boy threw a little French in there, a little wee French fry. Yeah, I threw all that in there. You know, I'm doing a little gumbo right now. I'm doing a little gumbo right now. I'm throwing it in there.
I like it. I like
it. You know, but when you bring that up, I just realized that it's imperative for those who are tuned in to get that self-love component right now, especially with what we're dealing with the COVID-19 stuff. You having to look, as the great king of pop, Michael Jackson said, you got to look at the man or the woman in the mirror. Sure. And some of us are facing some situations right now that's we having to face each other, whether it's decisions that we've made beforehand, or we find ourselves having to transition, whether we will let go or our hours were cut or whatnot, or whatever it might be, or it might be a family member, a loved one, where you might be good, but somebody you deeply care about is facing some hard times right now. So that self-love, to be able to love yourself, because if you're not able to love yourself, how can you extend that to somebody else? How can you care? How can you be empathetic to someone else if you're not that to you? And so what Ms. Blair is sharing with us is important for you to grab a hold of that in the time that we're in. And now when I look at you, even with your book, what does it mean to you knowing that you are actually an author now? Like, you got so many things, you graduated from college, you've been great at sports. So many things that you've been able to accomplish, but how does it feel now knowing that this is something else that you have been blessed to accomplish while you had your tenure here on earth, to be an author now?
It's a great feeling. I think there's a sense of a great sense of responsibility that comes with it. But it's awesome. It's a great feeling. It's new. It's fresh. Sometimes I didn't know that I could do it until I continued to work at it, of course. But interestingly enough, I've had a title for myself for quite some time. And so, and I won't tell you what that title is, but I will say that author is in that title. And so to see that manifest, and now that I've accomplished this great thing, of course, through the help of self-publishing in 30 days, I mean, I don't know what I would have done. I would have done without y'all. I mean, it's did you down? Yeah, it's been phenomenal. The process has been amazing. I really, like I said, I didn't know that I could do it. And some things we dream about, and then we continue to work at it, and we watch that seed maturate, because it's a lot of stuff that happens underneath the surface when you plant a seed that you never see. You plant the seed, of course, you don't see the plant or the flower immediately. You plant it, and then there's some rain and some watering, and you have to feed the seed for the fruit to be tangible, for it to grow. And so, when I started writing the book, it didn't seem as though a lot was happening. It didn't seem that much was going on. But then as I continued to persevere through it, and now that I've seen things come together, the book has been, the compilations have come together, it's become, a real thing. Now it's pretty magical, and I'm pretty grateful for it.
Well, it's nothing but love, having a wonderful client just like you, and I consider a friend, just good people. It's amazing. The only thing I do have to say about this is, and I can tell that you are a person of faith, and I can tell that you are even a prayer warrior. It doesn't mean I say you gotta lock yourself in a closet all day long to be a prayer warrior, but I can tell that because, COVID-19 has really helped me from getting down there and turning you up on that basketball court. So, I just know I want you just to, give praises where praises due to the Most High. You know what I'm saying? Because see, we would have been having a book lunch. We still gonna work and get that lined up. But see, when I would have came down there for that book lunch, so I would have to show you the handles and things, But I'm sorry about that. We're doing a podcast. Things. I would just had to show you the handles and things.
Things.
Not things, you know what I'm saying? But we go on the basketball court, it's gonna be some things when I come out there. I'm gonna have to see you that video that I got when I'm at the NCAA Hall of Fame, when I was pulling that slow motion move or whatnot. When the NBA was out, I felt a need to let the people know that I'm here for them. You know what I'm saying? So I have to see you that video, just to let the people know out there, because I'm in the giving. You know what I'm saying? Because it's about giving in this season or whatnot. So anyway, with all that being said, I love having a good time. You're a team player, you know what I'm saying? She's an amazing young lady. It's much more to come as far as what she's doing. I'm going to have information in the show notes, how you will be able to get a copy of the book, the whole nine, by the time this airs or whatnot. But I want, if you don't mind, if it's any social media handles or ways that you will want people to connect with you, please share that at this time.
Well, I am, of course, on Facebook and Instagram. Right now is pretty much my personal pages. They're not open to the public, but by the time it airs, I definitely have some social media outlets for those folks to reach out to me, because I definitely want to stay well connected and have some real life conversations, because I hope that there are some folks who want to do some book clubs and really dive into it and talk about the different pieces and kind of what stimulates them and what they love doing in the book. So I'll have those outlets prepared once this thing roll out and we're live in it. Sure.
Awesome. Well, we will make sure to have all that information in the show notes with the handles for those who want to connect with Miss NaTarsua Player. We'll make sure that we have all that in there for you. But I just want to just tell you that I love what you're doing. It's a pleasure to work with you. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm just going to be 100. I thank God because it's answered prayer. People like you, I just get the honor and privilege to be able to work with people like you. See how much of a good time? It's good vibes. One of our core values is personal happiness. Yeah. We work with people that we like to work with. They work with us because they like working with us, and it's just a win-win. So for those who are tuned in, if you're a business owner or if you got a career, start looking at your prayer life with the right people, okay? So we can make sure we have that lined out. We got Miss Player here getting it lined out, so we're gonna get you lined out and squared away before we end the show. Miss Player, if you don't mind, before we end this call, I got you free, girl. If you don't mind, speak to that person out there who's thinking to themselves, she got more degrees than a thermometer. It makes sense. She's been winning. Could you share with someone who's on the fence right now about publishing a book? Why should they share their story with the world when they're thinking that who will want to hear from me? Could you please share with them the importance of sharing their story with the world?
Listen, I think that it's important for you to remember that there's significance in you, that you matter, that there's a great deal of worth in you, that when God created you, he created somebody that was phenomenal. And it's important to always understand and know that, no, your book, your piece, your whatever you're writing, your book, it may not be for everyone, but there are a group of people that are assigned to your life. Whereas if you don't birth that baby and produce it, then it won't happen, and we don't want that to take place. There is a quote that Maya Angelou has, and I think it's phenomenal because it speaks life to what we're talking about. And it says, "There's no greater agony than bearing an untold story inside of you." I mean, how antagonizing that is, to know that you are carrying something so priceless and that you never actually give it to the world. So I just encourage you, I encourage you to keep at it. Don't stop. I don't care how long it takes you. Don't worry about time. Don't worry about what someone else is telling you. Turn off the noise. Turn off the noise, dive in it, and go get it, because guess what? It's yours to attain.
I love it. I love it. Last word from a girl. She knocked it out the park like she always do. We will have those show notes because I don't want y'all throwing tomatoes and stuff at the screen saying Darren did not provide us with what he said. You know, somebody, grandmama over there saying that boy lied. I don't want that. I don't want that kind of stuff going on. So we're going to make sure we put that information in the show notes of my girl, Miss NaTarsua Player. Thank you so much for tuning on. For those who are listening, remember that this is the year for your new book. Be blessed and be great.
Indeed.